IRB's Scrum workshop in Marcoussis earlier this month was one of countless events attended by the IRB's Chief Executive, Gosper. The Australian's been in the job for just over a year, long enough to have formulated some views on the organisation itself and on the state of the world game.
I think firstly the IRB should be viewed not as a unique, pure entity in itself. What people do forget is that the IRB is kind of like a cooperative. We are the sum total of all the unions. Those unions make us up and drive us forward strategically. So that means that we are the product of a lot of debate, a lot of argument, and sometimes a lot of compromise. And that just happens by the fact that we're a governing body. There are many little challenges here and there along the way. I think there's a number of things. Obviously, there are issues that we've got to keep on top of, which we believe we're on top of. Player welfare, integrity in the sport, whether we're talking anti-doping, which we're very strong on. There's also the amount of rugby that's played, and that again is linked to player welfare and having potentially a global season to try and find something which is good for the players, good for each hemisphere and so on. But that's often comes up in conversation. The organisation is huge that goes towards this, and some of the crowds that we get at some of these games, I think we saw 40,000 in one of the Madagascar qualifying games, and so it's extraordinary. And sometimes the cup finds itself into these places as well, which draws huge attention. No, we're only 2 years away, so the momentum's starting to build, I think, and cross fingers, the organisers, England 2015, as well as Rugby World Cup team are meshing very well and working very well together, and the excitement's building. It seems to be going in the right direction on all fronts. We were disappointed with the crowd too, we'd have to say that, but it was successful in other areas. It was successful in giving the sport an existence in the top levels of government in Russia. It was very talked about on television while we were there, and also as a sporting event it was particularly well contested. And New Zealand winning both the men and the women's, it was a great end to their brilliant year. We've all been astonished with the momentum that Sevens has gathered in recent times, and last season again broke records from attendance points of view, from broadcast, and certainly the standard rugby that was played was brilliant. And as we head towards Rio in 2016, we're very pleased with that property. All of the tournaments we've had in Sevens have always taken a while to gather momentum in terms of crowd building and so on. So just to announce a tournament and turn up in a place and hope the crowds will turn up at the same time is wishful thinking. So we think this will build over time. We're in discussion to go from 4 to 6 destinations in the next round and so on. So we're very encouraged by what we saw in the first year of it, and we think that will also strengthen both in terms of crowd interest, spectator interest, and even television interest as we go forward. Brilliantly organised, great crowds for the choice that the FFR made, which was to use that tournament as a development tool, and they went into the north and regions that aren't really associated with rugby, and I think that was a good call, and they ran a brilliant tournament and a very good result, particularly for England. So no, we're very pleased how that went. I think as the sport is growing, and it is growing in leaps and bounds at the moment, whether it be Sevens and 15s, we need to engage more with the public. We have great products which reach out to the public, and I think the needle should be moving from our point of view from regulation to inspiration. And I think our role as an inspirer of the game of rugby and what rugby stands for is going to be increasingly important as we go forward.